Okay, hello everyone. Happy Thursday. We have an upper body strength and core session we are going to get through today. Starting off, we're going to talk about the equipment that you are going to need for today's workout. I will be using my 8-pound dumbbells and or my loop bands, which I have over here. And in our warm-up, as well as for some of our exercises themselves, we are going to incorporate our long bands. So bring them out. Grab them specifically right now. We're going to start with it in our warm-up, starting off with our pass-throughs. So for those of us who do not have a long band like this, that is completely fine. You are going to do the same thing we're doing with no band in your hands. So starting with your palms facing back, and then opening up those hands, opening up the palms behind us. There and back is one, and we are going to do this one 10 times total. So it should be relatively comfortable, maybe a little bit tight feeling to get back there, but no pain, and we can get back there no problem without having to bend the elbows, anything like that. So we'll go through 10 of these total. Again, there and back is one. We are doing 10 of those. As soon as you are finished your 10, we're going to put that band down and get ourselves through some arm swings. So we're going to face our palms to the floor, alternating which arm goes up, which arm goes down, allowing the arms to fall back behind the body, opening up the chest, opening up the shoulders between each rep, going through 20 total. So you gotta count these ones. Every time we open up, again, getting that nice stretch in the front, we are counting a rep. We got one more hopping in here. Hello, Carly, what's up, girl? All right, so we're swinging it out, opening up the front side, 20 of these guys. And then we are headed down onto the floor. So we'll swing it out. As you come to the end of your 20, we're going to come down, all the way down into our hands and knees, all four position. Shoulders are stacked on top of the wrists, hips on top of our knees. We're going to take one hand, put the fingertips on the back of the head, close, trying to touch our elbow as close to the hand as possible without bending this elbow over here. Exhaling, we shall open, looking up to the ceiling. Maybe feeling a little tighter than when we have our arms straight. That's okay. We're doing 10 of these total. Exhaling as we open, inhaling as we close, trying to keep the hips, the legs as still as possible. We got one more hopping in. Awesome. All right. So we'll do this on both sides. Come on in. We're going to close, again, open. Nice exhale is going to guide us a little bit bigger every single rep. So we'll switch, and we'll do that on the other side, counting out 10 over here. Yes, yes. And we do have one more down here, so don't go too far once you're finished. Hello, come on in. So as we finish up 10 and 10, we're going to lay down on our tummy, and I'm actually going to turn around because I need a little bit more space on each side of me. Down in our Superman position. So we have a 3-point Superman. We're going to start off with extending our thumbs up position, straight arms, lifting up in this I position. So we want the arms straight, coming right over the shoulders, lifting them up as high as we can, and then we'll come back down but not touch the floor, moving them to the Y position. And then I'll lift, try not to punch the plant. Lifting, and then we'll come back down, and then we're going to extend the arms out to the sides into our T position. Lifting, punching the air freshener. We got all the stuff in the way. And then I'll go back to my Y, lift. The whole time we're keeping our thumbs up because this one's so much fun. And then the I, we'll count all of those, counting out 15 reps total. So if you don't quite have enough space to extend your arms straight, you can have a little slight bend in the arms on that T. Okay, and then we'll go through these ones, 15 total. Never, ever touching the floor between those ones, which, yes, we're going to wake some stuff up, everything up in your upper back, back of the shoulders. Yes, 15 of them. And then we are standing back up to the top once we're finished that one. Once again, we're going to swing out our arms. So over and under, alternating which one goes up, which one goes down, trying to open up the chest. Every time we allow those arms to come back and we're feeling that opening stretch through the front. Another 20 of those for us, please. 20 total. Again, you should be feeling maybe a little bit of a burning sensation brewing in your shoulders. I know that's part of the deal. And again, that opening stretch in the front. Once we're finished 20, we're going to keep the arms up as much as you might want to relax them down. We're going to keep them out here and start to get going in our swimmers. So we want to keep the palms down, little movements up and down, trying to be fast with these movements, but in control, trying to keep the arms straight and extended out in our T position. So you're on a timer for these, so you don't have to worry about counting them. They are a little tedious to count anyways. We're going to do 15 seconds, which we are already almost all the way through with the palms facing down, up and down, arms. Now we're going to turn the palms and start to go forward and backward for the next 15 seconds. So trying to keep our chest up. Woo, there's that shoulder burn I was talking about. So we'll go through this one, following through about 5 more seconds. Straight arms, very nice. And now we can relax our arms down by our sides, just burn it. We're gonna roll out our shoulders. We'll take 3 rotations backwards, keeping the arms down by our sides. And then we'll do 3 rotations forwards, or in the opposite direction if you started it. So we'll go through those ones, taking that time. We have one last movement of this here warm-up. We'll need to grab onto our band again if we have it. If we don't, I will give you your option right after I talk about the banded one. Pull apart, but not our average pull apart. We're going to add in our scapula retraction. So that's us pulling our shoulders apart and squeezing them together. So what's going to happen here? We're going to spread out the shoulder blades, and then we're going to squeeze them together, pull the band apart, back to where we started, spread the shoulders, squeeze the shoulders, pull the band apart. That was 2 reps. We're going to do this 10 times total. So if you do not have a band, you are in our bent over position, thumbs up, same thing. Shoulders apart, shoulders together, and then we open up those hands. Moving through the shoulders, squeezing them together through our 10 reps total. So we'll get through that one, then feeling all the things happening between our shoulder blades and our upper back. 10 reps total, and then you can put the band down, grab yourself some water, and we are going to get you started on our first superset. First 2 exercises. All right, let's do this thing. So dumbbells, as well as potentially our loop bands, are going to come out for this first part. We're going to be pairing 2 upper body exercises with a different focus. One of them is a shoulder focus, one of them is a back focus. So we're going to start off with the shoulder press, which is going to be a 1-arm standing shoulder press. We're going to be in our neutral position, and eventually I will be using these 2 dumbbells. I'm going to start off using just 1 dumbbell to prepare and warm up my shoulder press, because today we hopefully want to go a little bit heavier, make this challenging, because we're only doing 8 reps on each side. So we're going to have 8 reps going on over here, 8 reps happening over here. Again, I'm going to start with 1 dumbbell. Eventually, I will use both of these, but we're going to go through a warm-up set a little bit lighter, because 8 reps is not a lot of reps, which means we want something heavier in our hands. The shoulders, they're quite sensitive, so we want to make sure we go through a warm-up set, something a little bit lighter, before we go into that first working set. Because although we did all that stuff in the warm-up, we haven't done anything weighted to warm up our shoulder. So we'll go through 8 reps of this neutral grip shoulder press over here, and then we'll switch, and we're going to do 8 reps over here. Remember, it's a warm-up set, so it's going to feel quite easy, and that is completely okay. I hope it's easy. All right, again, it's our warm-up, 8 and 8. Now, some of us have a whole arraignment of dumbbells, in which case you can simply grab something that is 2 to 5 pounds heavier than the one you have here. Some of us are stuck with 1 simple set of dumbbells, like me. So now I'm going to take both of my dumbbells, stack them on top of each other, and start my first official working set, where I will complete 8 reps. Should be very challenging, okay? So if you're stuck with something a little bit lighter, I know my hand gets cut off here, but that is the hardest point. So we can spend a little bit more time at the top of that rep, holding, maybe it's a little shaky, a little wobbly, and that's going to make your entire set feel a lot harder, because we only are doing 8 and 8. And we shouldn't be thinking that we want to do more than that, okay? 8 is it. So if you're working with a band, you're going to hold the band 1 side in each hand, and then we'll press up that 1 side. Same rules apply with that pause. Okay, that's going to also be a thing for using bands instead of dumbbells. So this is our first one. Let's get this in. 8 and 8. All right, should be challenging 8. If not, we will be going through 3 more rounds. And again, we are going to pair this with another exercise, which is about our back. So we have a rotational row happening with this one. I am once again going to be using my dumbbells, starting off standing nice and tall, hip width apart in the feet. I have 1 dumbbell in each hand. We want the soft knees, the hips back, so we're in this nice, strong bent over position. I'm going to turn the palms so that they're facing the legs, and then I'm going to roll and rotate, pulling into our wider A position. So I want the elbows going out, rotating back to where we started, and then exhaling, squeezing the shoulders and sending those elbows out here rather than in here. So we want to be out here. So we'll go through 15 reps is our number to be of these ones. Again, trying to get the elbows on this angle, not in here, we're not in the T, we're right in that middle sweet spot. 15 of them. Let's get it. Okay, so we'll go through this set, trying to bring the shoulder blades together just like we practiced in the warm-up. All right, if you're working with bands, and we're going to have the bands looped around our wrists, and then we're going to just pull in the bands, again, trying to pull out those elbows 15 times. Let's do it. Okay, so once you're finished, we are going to do it again. Once you are done, we're going right into our second set, trying to limit our rest. Okay, if you need to, you can just shake them out, maybe a very quick sip of water, but there is no prescribed rest. So we're going to try our best to go right into our second set, back into that single arm shoulder press with heavy weights, the working weight, and we're doing 8 and 8. Okay, so let's do it. On to our second round. I already warned you, we're doing 4 sets total. So we're going to get through the second one, and then we have 2 more to go of these 2 movements. Let's do it. We got Alexi snoring back here. All right. So we'll get through this second set of the presses, okay? If we are using something sort of on the heavier side, we'll make sure that we're able to do it without any help from the legs. We don't want to use any momentum to push that weight up. We also want to make sure we're not accidentally arching our back or pushing our hips forward. That is something that is, again, just going to cause you some underlying lower back tension and pain, which is not what we want and not what we're going for. So to avoid that, we want to make sure you have a nice strong core position, pulling that belly button into our spine, or overall just not having our pelvis tilted back, but rather tilting it forward or squeezing our butt. All those things are going to achieve the same situation in your core, okay, which is this neutral pelvis. So whether you need to think about contracting your glutes or bracing your core, pulling in your belly button to your spine, whatever you got to do, you'll probably feel a little bit of work in there. But again, it's going to help you activate that built-in weight belt that we all have in there, which is our core muscles, that will help you avoid accidentally arching your back or putting any sort of strain on the low back. All right, so that applies especially when we're pressing over our head and using something quite heavy because we're only doing 8 reps. It's also going to apply to our bent over rows, our rotational rows that we're doing. Same thing, we want to brace our core. And 15 of them. Yes, all the reps. Okay, so we'll get through the second set. Get going on our third. Trying our best to limit the rest because we are working different stuff, although I know it feels like we're doing lots of upper body here. We have the shoulder focus, the back focus, which means we do not need to take as much time between our sets at any time. Let's do it. Awesome. We lost Darcy. There she is again. Zoom room, it's always kicking people out. There we go. All right, so we'll get through this set number 3. Very nice. Okay, and then we have 1 more to go after this one. There she is again. Perfect. All right, let's do it. Getting through this third set. Awesome. Rolling it in, shoulders together, so good. All right, so third set. It's going to take us into our last and final round, set number 4. So again, let's finish up those rows. We're going to take a couple of deep breaths, right, to get ourselves mentally prepared to get through this last final set. Press. We want to make sure we're thinking about that core, contracting the glutes, strong arm that's not pressing. You want that arm out and strong, making a fist in your hand, not just loose over here, because if the arm's loose, that means your core is probably loose, which means you're probably going to, again, end up doing a little bit of this, and that is all the stuff that we want to avoid. So we'll tighten it up, be a little bit more conscious in our final set. This is our last one of these two, of course. There's more on the menu. So we will have about 2 minutes to finish these up, this final set of these two. The shoulders, 8 and 8. A challenging 8, okay? This is your final set. So we don't want to be thinking like, oh, I could do 10 or 12. 8 is all that you can do with the weight that you have. And again, you might have to slow her down, pause at the top. But you already knew that. Well, let's get it in. Last set. Same thing with the rows. We most likely are not going to have to think about too much in our rows to make them harder because we have such a high rep range of 15 reps. That being said, we want to make sure we're being very active in the shoulders, making sure that they move back. As we pull back, we want to retract those shoulder blades, just like we did in the warm-up with that retract and then the band pull. Same rules apply in these rows. So we'll get that in here on our final set. And then we shall rest once you are finished these rows. You can put your dumbbells down, all 15 of them. Grab some water. Very nice work. And then we are going to move on to the second part in about 30 seconds. So we'll finish that up. Awesome. Getting her done. Resting finally after our 4 rounds. And we are going to move on to our second superset, which is all about our back. We have 2 back exercises that we are going to pair together. Okay, so we'll finish up that set and we'll rest. Drink some water. Very nice. Getting ready to start the first set of our next superset. So we have another variation of rows to start us off. We're going to be doing a single, double row in this neutral position. So I'm not going to be rotating my hands. My arms are going to be a bit more narrow than last time, still not touching the body, but we do want to be more close. And once again, I will be using my dumbbells. Whatever you used for your rows in the first set, you can use again. In bent over position, we want to make sure we have that strong setup with the soft knees, with the hips back, and palms are facing each other. We're going to pull one arm in, and then the other arm in, and then both arms, and that's 1 rep. And then again, I'll do my right arm, my left arm, and then both, that's 2. So I'm only counting the doubles. Okay, left, and then that's 3. We're doing 8 of these total, okay, which I know is more than 8 simple reps as we have these singles between the doubles. That's what this one is about, kind of tapping more into that higher rep range, and you'll feel in your core working, maybe a little bit of work in the lower back because we're in this bent over position. Whenever you're ready, let's start that one up for our first set. If you're using dumbbells, rather bands, show you the dumbbells. We can hold a band, 1 in each hand, and then we row, and then we row, and then we can go through our doubles. So we'll work through that one. And for those of us who are TRXing it, what you can do instead, do all your singles first. So do your right arm singles, and then your left arm singles, and then you can finish off with both arms, 8 singles, 8 singles, and then 8 doubles, okay? So that's gonna take you and give you that same sort of single, double benefit. If you're using the TRX, it doesn't really work so well to alternate those two, which you'll probably learn the hard way, but that's what's up for our first one here. So we'll get through that one. And we're going to pair this with, again, another back exercise, which is down on the floor. It's going to be a Superman variation. So what I'm going to do here is grab onto my long band. I'm going to bring them out, laying down on my tummy. We're working with a Superman with a lateral banded pull-in. So I'm going to hold this band sideways. And if you don't have a long band, or maybe you have the one with handles and they're a little bit annoying to hold, you can always use a loop band around your wrist or in your hands like this. Okay, but we're going to lay down on our tummy, keeping in mind also that we can just use our hands. We don't necessarily have to hold the band. Arms are extended out, similar to the warm-up, but palms facing down. We want tension on that band, so the arms are a little wider than the shoulders. And then we're going to pull in while driving our elbows down towards the floor, keeping our arms lifted, elbows down, shoulders back. 15 reps is the number to be on these ones. So we're trying to keep our legs down, our feet down, our knees down, the hips down, okay? Only thing that's lifting is the arms, the shoulders, pulling back. We even want to make sure we're not doing too much lifting in the front here. We shouldn't feel our ribs pushing into the floor. If that's happening, we'll just come down a little bit more. And again, make sure the arms are coming up, but the elbows are pushing down, all right? 15. And if you don't have a band, and you are arms, and you're working with similar, a little bit different, because there's no bands in your hand, 15 of them. There you go. The Supermans. The ones that are pretty dang foolproof to feel those back muscles, okay? Again, if you're not really feeling it, we'll make sure the elbows aren't lifting like this. Because if you're pulling in and the elbows are up, you're never going to feel these muscles here. So you're not allowing them to work properly. Rather, we want to push the elbows down, which puts us in a way better position to actually use our back muscles. 15 reps. Now, because we have two similar exercises working similar stuff here, we're going to rest. Yay. We'll take about 30 seconds of rest, maybe 45 if we need it. We'll try to keep the rest under a minute, but we will take a little bit of time before we jump right into our next set, which you're probably feeling quite worked back there. For this one, we're completing 2 more rounds total. So we just did 1. We're going to go through 2 more sets to make it 3 rounds total. Yeah. So we'll take this time, again, grab some water, take some deep breaths. Think about how strong we're going to make this next set. Again, once about 30 seconds has gone by, we will start our second round. So again, back to this first one. Single, double rows. So we're going through these ones, again, trying to be active with the shoulder blades. Get that 90-degree angle going on the arm. I know I'm wearing a black shirt, it's kind of hard to see, but we want to make sure that we have an active shoulder blade on all those rows, both the singles and the doubles. We don't want to leave the shoulder behind. No chicken wing situation here, but rather pull the shoulder behind the ear on all of them, okay, on both sides and on the doubles. The more you can do that, the more we're going to involve back there. Yes, that is the goal. Let's get it. 8 total. Again, only counting the doubles. Yes. All right. Awesome. Okay, so we'll get through the second set. Right back into those Supermans. Really nice. Again, if you are feeling some tension in your lower back on those Supermans, that should not be happening. So if you need to take that tension away, again, you want to make sure that the legs are staying down, your feet are down. Again, we're also not accidentally sort of lifting up with that upper body. So we want to stay down. Only thing that's moving, again, is your upper back, shoulder blades, of course your arms. There you go. And if we do add a little bit more tension sideways, like let's say you narrow up your hands and hold that band a little bit tighter, you'll probably feel this a little bit more as well. So if you need a bit more action back there, that's something else that you can try. Right now, or maybe on your last set, because we have 1 more after this. So remember to take the rest. Again, you probably do not need that reminder because you're probably feeling very worked back there. All right, so we'll take this time, water, all right, and then we will get ourselves going on our final and third set of these ones. These two. Let's do it. Okay, so we have our final set of the back on back exercises. And last set of these rows. Trying to make sure that we're feeling every single rep, all of them. Okay, 8 total. Please taking your sweet time with your reps. We do not want to rush them. Never. Anytime we're doing our strength or resistance training, we want to slow her down. And again, if you want to make it a bit harder here on this last set, you can pause all those doubles. Pull them in and hold and don't leave until you feel all that stuff happening back there. Yes, and you'll definitely feel a little bit more to get towards the end of your 8. Okay, so we'll get through this last set. We have about 3 minutes, which is plenty of time to get this final round in. If you've not started your last set of rows, then you should get on it so that you can get through both of these before the time to move on is here. Okay, so we'll finish up strong with our Supermans. Keeping that tension on the band. Very nice. 15 of them. Let's do it. Okay, and then we have one more part to our strength. And then we have a nice little core circuit that we're going to finish off today. Although there is a little bit of sneaky core in this next part here in one of the movements, which is actually going to be a new one for us. We've actually, I cannot say that all the way because we've done this 2 times in our programming before, but we are back. All right, so I'll let you guys finish up here. I'll give you 1 more minute to do so. In that minute, as you are finished, grab some water. Yes, rest it out. And we are going to set ourselves up with our anchored band. So if you've been using a long band, and if you, first off, you have this, and if you have somewhere to anchor it on, we're going to attach it to a low setting. So I'm going to take this band and loop it around and through onto this nice bookshelf leg here. So I have my attached band like this. Again, this can be a band with a handle. It can be a loop band like this. And for those of you who do not have a band, you already know that I have a wonderful dumbbell option that is going to be working the same thing. So this setup here is going to stay here. It's going to be for one of our movements, and it's the last movement. So we're actually going to leave that there and come back to it. First off, we're going to talk about our first 2, which is starting off with a lateral to front raise. So this is a little combination move for our shoulders. Using dumbbells, we're going to lift the dumbbells up into this lateral raise, move them into the front raise, and then lower them down. And then I'll lift them back up into the front raise, move them to the lateral, and then lower them down. That's 1. We're doing that 5 times total. So again, up into the lateral, moving to the front, lowering, keeping the palms facing down, and then we reverse that. Front, lateral, and then I lower. Now, if you're working with dumbbells that are kind of heavy, what you can do is add a slight bend into the arms, and you can go through them with a bend in the arms a little bit, okay? But we're trying to keep the arms straight as possible. If you're working with bands and you don't have dumbbells, then what you can do instead is tension on the lateral and then tension on the front, and count out 5 of those total, okay? So we'll get through this one. This is our very first one that we are going to do. Oh yes. And you'll feel that you really don't need too much weight for this one. So that is our first exercise. Our second one is going to be a shoulder press variation. We're going to lift up the dumbbells into this wide grip position here. I'm going to kneel so that you can see what's happening because my arms do get cut off on this screen here, but we're going to be doing this one standing. So we want to start off by finding that 90-degree angle in the elbows here. And then we're going to push up straight into this I position. And then we're coming back down to 90 degrees. And then we're pushing out into our Y position, back down to 90 degrees. That's one. We're doing 8 of those. So again, up to the I, back to the 90, and then out to the Y, back to the 90. That's 2. Okay, and again, we're standing. Let my arms get cut off. And so we'll start this one here. Same rules apply. And if you do not have dumbbells, then we're just going to hold a band sideways in this, like this, okay? And count out our 8 reps total. And I see your little chat bubble here. Oh, I have no sound again. Sorry about that. Eight. There we go. Okay, awesome. Yeah, I don't know why Zoom is just, maybe I need to do an update. Sometimes when you don't update things, I know it's been bugging me. They always give you hell. Okay, so our final movement, we have one more that we're going to do is a wood chopper. So what we're going to do is grab onto our band like this. I'm going to hold the band on the side that I'm facing. I want it right beside me here. Overlapping the hand with that other one. We're going to widen up the feet slightly wider than hip width. And then we're going to bring this guy all the way up and across the shoulders while keeping the hips forward. So we're going through 12 on each side where I'm trying to move through my torso. So I want to twist up to the side. Okay, so 12 of them. Now again, if you don't have the band, you probably have a dumbbell. So what we're going to do is use that dumbbell and work it in that same rotational manner. So we want to make sure that the hips are forward and we are moving through the torso. So we'll go through this 12 reps on each side. Try and exhale as we go up. Again, keeping our hips forward. Again, we can think about sort of contracting our glutes, squeezing our butt, and going through our set of 12 of them. Okay, let's do it. So this is going to be the last one of this little circuit that we're going through. Awesome. Okay, and so we will get through 3 more sets of these 3 exercises. Okay, so again, we have to do both sides of that wood chopper that we're doing. So we'll go through 12 on this side, and then we'll switch, and we'll do 12 on this side over here. Once you're finished, we are doing it again with no rest in between. So we're going right back into that first one, those lateral to front raises. So we lift, okay, going through these ones, breathing through them. Very nice. And I just realized now, I just told you that that was 8. It's actually 5. The front lateral. Oh, and she left the meeting. Oh, she's having internet problems. Okay, that's okay. I'll send that one when she gets back. Okay, so 5 total. I totally told Darcy it was 8. That's okay. I was thinking about the second one. All right, so we'll go through these ones. There we go. Okay, so we'll work through these ones. The front to side raises. Very nice. We're hopping back in here. I know the struggle is real. You're inside now. Hopefully that works better. Hopefully you can hear me. Okay, and I told you in the chat that it was 8, but it's actually 5. So I'm sorry about that. All right, so the front to laterals, again, we're doing 5 of that combo total. Working with our press. This guy's the 8. So we have the I, and we have the Y. Very nice. Okay, trying to hit that 90-degree angle, which if you need to, we can do a little shoulder check between each rep. Okay, again, counting both of those as 1. And we're doing 8 of them. Very nice. All right. So we'll get through the second set. Getting back to our last one, which is going to be this wood chopper. We're coming up and over to the side, and trying to really rotate. So we should feel this a lot through our torso, through our core muscles. That says sneaky core work, which is really not so sneaky in this one. It is quite direct, that we are getting in this chopper. If we think about it, okay, because if you're not consciously tightening that up and sort of rotating through this, if you're moving the hips like this, we're not going to get that core work. But if you keep them straight, stable, and you're having to actually rotate your upper body and turn your shoulders, whoo, you'll feel the difference. And again, that applies as well to our dumbbells. For those of us who are without band, we want straight arms, and then we're rotating up to the side, up and away with that dumbbell. Oh yeah. All right. This very fun stuff. Okay. Again, with little to no rest in between. If you need to take any, we'll do it after these choppers. Grab a little bit of water. Take a couple of those calming deep breaths before we get going into our third set, which is going to be our second last one. So again, we have 4 rounds total. Okay. Awesome. Okay, so we're back to this first one. And our side, front, side. That's 1. Trying to breathe through these ones. Okay, that's 2. Again, counting that entire front, side, raising combination as 1. We're doing 5. Awesome. Okay. Now these weights are probably starting to feel a little heavier. And we're using lots of shoulders here, which we know are not the strongest muscles compared to everything else, like our back and of course our legs and stuff like that. And the shoulders also hold most of that lactic acid more than other muscles. So that's that burning sensation that you're feeling, that you're probably getting a lot in that second press there. That's the kind of burn that you can work through, that you can push through. Okay, it's just that sort of sharp, pinchy pain, which you will know if you've ever had any pre-existing shoulder injuries or if you've ever hurt yourself in the past. But the burn, yeah, that's what we're here for, whether we like it or not. So we'll try to push through it, get through it, and yeah, it's gonna also continue into this last one here because we have a bit of up and over. So there's really not a lot of rest for the shoulders. Okay, so again, if you need to, well, you can take about 30 seconds on this last set after we finish these side choppers, okay? And then we will have one last and final round, which we have plenty of time to do. We have about 5 minutes until we should be starting to talk about our last part, which is all about the core, the abs. Yes. Awesome. Okay, so then we'll try to be very conscious, drawing in that belly button, making sure to rotate up and over whatever you're using in your hands. You should be feeling it all up in here. There you go. All right, so we have one last set of this little circuit. And then we have two core exercises. Not too bad to get through. That's gonna take us to the finish line. Okay, so we'll finish up those wood choppers. Take a couple deep breaths. Again, grab some water if you need it. If you're feeling good, feeling ready, we will get going into our final set of these front side raises. So we're trying to stay as controlled as possible, breathing through each point the whole time. We don't want to be accidentally holding our breath. Sometimes it happens. So let's see if we can keep that exhale going through this final set. And then, yes. All right. Ooh, shoulder burn. Now we're definitely feeling it, if you weren't before. All right, so going on that I-Y press. So 90 degrees and coming up and together at the top and then out into that Y position, which is actually surprisingly much harder than just coming straight above your head. That's because we have a bit more tension on those dumbbells. When we put them out here, it's a little further away from the body, which is going to put more work on our shoulders, which is why they feel so much harder than they look, even with maybe even a light weight that we have. All right, so we'll get through the last set. And 8 of that combo, and then we have our last round of our core focused wood chopper. So again, if you weren't before, this is your last opportunity to really get this and feel this in your core. You have to do some things. You have to keep your hips stable, because if there's any of this, then we're not rotating, so you're not actually getting that rotation work. So we want to make sure the hips stay straight and the shoulders move all the way to the side. And you'll feel the work happening on the way up and on the way down. That's what we want to think about. On all 12 of those reps, lots of opportunity there to feel this. So as you finish up that final set of those lovely wood choppers, I'm going to set up our timer here for our final part, which is our core work, which is, let me get an exact time. Okay, perfect. So we'll work through 45. All right, so we'll finish up that final set once you're done. And we'll grab some water, shake it out. 12 minutes. Okay, so we technically have a couple more minutes until we really need to start our final part. So I'll give you one more to finish up, to grab water, to rest, and to get yourself situated down on the floor for these last 2 core exercises, which are completely body weight. So the first thing we want to do is make sure we have some space on our mat. I'm going to move my bands, my dumbbells out of the way so I don't accidentally trip on them and all that. And I'm also just going to unattach my band so I don't have to do it later. And I'll put it away as well, because I'm going to be doing body weight core, which is always potentially the hardest core work that there is. And you can come on down and join me on the floor, on your mat, I should say, for these 2 minutes. So we're going to start off with the first one, which is all about the front of the core and abs. It's going to be our V-up. So we want to start off sitting upright, walking our hips back. So we're on our sit bones, not on the back of our butt, on our tailbones. And that makes a big difference, okay? Don't underestimate that, because it's going to allow us to be able to sit up in this position without like rolling back if we're sitting on the back of our hips. So this is our starting position with the legs up and arms straight. We're going to lower ourselves down until we feel challenged. So don't feel like you have to come all the way down, although I would like you to. And then we come back up, reaching our arms towards our feet. You don't have to touch the feet, but we want to make sure that those shins stay lifted, arms lifted. And this is going to be you for 45 seconds. And I'm going to start this timer in 3, 2, right now. And let's do it. Okay, so again, legs up, arms up, inhale down, exhale up. If you feel like you go down and you can't get back up, then just don't go as low. You don't have to straighten out the legs all the way like that. It takes a lot of practice and doing this a lot in order to be able to master that all the way. So if you can, do it, but if you can't, and if you feel like you cannot come up or you're not going to make it, then just work it as you can. 15 seconds left. Worst case, you can always put the arms down and work with just the legs going, okay? Because I get it. This one is very challenging. On the core, we're also going to feel some work in the hip flexors in the front. And time to our very subtle beat. Second exercise is a side plank. So we're going to get ourselves into a side planking position, a full body side plank with the feet stacked on top of each other. We're on our forearm. We're going to lift up to here. This arm's going to reach through, shoulder comes down and forward, and then we're going to open up. And that's us for 45 seconds on this side. Now, side planking is very challenging, so if you need to make it easier, you can separate your feet like this. If you still feel like you are not going to make it, then you can lower down onto the knees, but I want you to keep going with this reach through,
okay? Because again, we're getting some rotational work as we pull that shoulder down and forward and then open it back up to the side. 10 seconds left over here. Woo, let's get it. Breathing through these ones. 3, 2, and rest. All right, now of course, we got to do the other side. So we'll flip over, flip to the other side. Get ready. Wait for the beep though. You want to save all the energy. 3, 2, 1, and here we go. So I want you to do the exact same thing that you did on the first side. Okay, I probably sort of low-key forced you into doing the full body side plank. So let's try to start there again. And then if you again, found it was too hard, maybe you separated your feet, maybe you came down onto your knees. Let's try to do the same thing over here. If this side feels way harder, let's try to just breathe and get through it and keep that movement going, that dynamic movement, opening and closing. 15 seconds left. You got this. You do. Just breathe through it. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Time. All right. So simple, right? That is us. We're going to do this 3 more times, and then we are free to go. Of course, we have a little stretch at the end. So flip on back over, sit on up, walk those hips back, okay? And that is our beep. Not a lot of rest with that 15 seconds. We go down, and then we exhale, and we come up. So we're trying to keep our chest up, shoulders pulled back, so we're not rounding forward. And again, we can support ourselves with our hands on the floor if we need to. And if, again, it's still too much, we can pull in one leg at a time. Okay, and again, it's not that I want you to do this, but I get it, especially because we have that side planking going on in between. 15 seconds left. They're both going to really amplify each other, make each other harder. And that plus the lack of rest, we only have a little short 15 seconds between each of these, which is right about now. So, resting slightly onto your side, getting ready to side plank it out for the second set. All right, 3, 2, 1. We'll lift up. We will push our hips forward. So we have a nice straight line with our body, reaching through and under, trying to touch that hand all the way around the hip, almost to your butt. You don't have to touch, but we're going in that direction. That's going to promote us to really round and rotate in and out. And yes, that is the hardest part of this one. I mean, let alone having to maintain a side plank. That's pretty dang challenging as it is. With this movement, just keep in mind, maybe next time we go to do side planks, we won't have this movement, it will feel stronger, it will feel easier. There you go. 3, 2, 1, rest. All right, other side. So we'll flip around, switch sides. There we go. 3, 2, 1, and let's go. All right, lifting back up. And same hips driving forward, creating that straight line with the body. Awesome. Okay, chest is opening. Every rep. You can follow that hand with your eyes, looking up, following it in, or you can simply look forward, but we want to avoid looking down towards that forearm that's resting on the floor. 20 seconds left. There we are. So we're going through about 3, maybe 5 more of these rotations. I'm trying to exhale every time you open. 3, 2, 1, rest. All right, nice work. That was our second set. We are on to our third. Back to the first one, maybe the hardest one for some of us. The V-ups. Okay, so we're walking the hips back, chest up, legs up, arms in line with the legs. We go down, and then we pull up. Okay, so try and breathe through these. You can keep the arms straight. You might feel like they kind of want to bend and fall. The shins might want to fall. So we'll try to lift those guys up and lift these up and watch yourself and check yourself. Make sure that they stay in line the entire time, especially now
You're starting to get tired. Yes. 10 seconds left. Keep it going here, nice and strong. Second last time you're here. 3, 2, 1. Nice job. Okay, side planks. Side planks. And then we have one more set. Finish the work. Okay, so flipping to the side, getting ready to start in 3, 2, 1. Let's do it. So same rules apply. All those things I was talking about in the full side plank, we need as well in this half side plank. Starting off with the hips being pushed all the way forward. And that shoulder, arm reaching back, getting that rotation. And we'll work through this one again to the left. Very nice. Okay, so keeping your chest up. 10 more seconds. Like 2 more. This one and 1 more. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And okay. Other side. Other side. Trying to keep it even on the second side. Starting right about now. Let's go. Lifting up. Pushing those hips forward. Let's get it going on here. All right. So finishing strong in this side plank. Again, we're definitely starting to feel this a lot more than that first and second very strong, ambitious set that we had. So we'll try to stay strong, stay even as to what we just did on that other side and what we did in the last set. 15 more seconds left. There you go. Pushing through this. Yes, this is going to feel extremely uncomfortable, but that's why we're here. 3, 2, 1, and nice and rest real quick just to get back into that V-up position for your final set because we have 1 more round to go. And then we have about 3 upper body stretches that we are going to do. And then you can start your day, or get on with your day, I should say. Okay, so let's get going here on this last set. This is it. The last time you are doing these V-ups. Probably very happy to hear that. You'll be happier when I say that about the side planks, I think. Let's try to get through this set and remembering to use that breath. That exhale is always your power. If you're ever struggling, not going to make it, get down to the bottom, you don't think you can get back up, see if you can exhale and just crank out those last few reps that you don't really want to do, your body doesn't really want to do, but they are the most important, okay? So let's try to keep it tight here. 5 more seconds left. We need 1 more. 3, 2, 1. V-ups are done. All right, we got the side planks, both sides. And then we are finished the core work, upper body work. Okay, getting ready. 3, 2, 1. Let's go. Lifting up. Okay, so again, following. You might want to follow that hand with the eyes, or you can simply just look forward the entire time. Okay, so we'll try to breathe through 30 more seconds. You got this. Okay, this is the last one for today's session. We'll try to finish this work just as strong as we started those first exercises that we did. All right, 15 seconds left, although I know these ones are probably a lot harder than those first ones we did. How you felt? 10 seconds. Last few over here. 2 more. 3, 2, last one. And time. Awesome. All right, other side. Of course, we got to even it out. Even out how you're feeling. So work on one side. Okay, so flip over. Getting ready to lift in 3, 2, 1. Lift. Side plank position. And let's go. Again, reaching that arm, that shoulder down and up. Getting that rotational work, which you are definitely feeling right now. If you weren't already from those wood choppers that we did earlier. 25 seconds until we are at the finish line for the work for today. So again, we will try to be as strong as we approach the end as possible. 15 seconds left. Breathing through these. opening up your chest, keeping your hips pushed forward. Yes, stay right here. 5 seconds left. 3, 2, last one, and time. Woo! Okay, so hopefully feel good, although you probably feel very worked right now. We're gonna get into some stretches that are gonna feel really nice after that stuff we did. Starting off with you flipping onto your hands and your knees, getting this cat-cow going. So we're gonna round up, tuck our chin, send our spine up to the ceiling. Take a big inhale, and then exhale and reverse that. Send our ribs down to the floor, look up to the ceiling, open up our chin, open up the front side. Take a big inhale, and then exhale, round again. We're gonna do this in your lower back, probably feel this a little in the upper back as well. 3 sets of this. So we're trying to have that breath with every single time we switch. So be conscious to get a nice big breath. And then use that breath to see if you can get a little bigger in your round, a little bigger in your arch, opening up the back and the front side. Once we're finished that last one, we're gonna rock our hips back, sit on our heels, walk our fingertips away into this infamous child's pose, and then we're gonna take our right hand, put it on top of our left, and then we'll turn and look underneath that left armpit. You can rest your head on that arm, and we're gonna feel a really nice big opening stretch on the top hand side of the back, running down here, because we're rotating away from that top hand. And we're gonna hold this here for about 30 seconds. Ooh, and it feels nice after all of that back work that we did, the rows, the Supermans. We're gonna open it up. So we'll hold this here about 30 seconds. If you're someone who has sensitive knees, I know that sitting in this position does not feel great. So instead, you can just kind of stick your butt up in the air. You're at home, no one's gonna look. And then it's gonna be a lot more comfortable on your knees than actually having such a great bend. So that is 30 seconds. We're gonna switch sides. Now I'm gonna take my left and put it on top of my right. And then I'll turn and look underneath that right armpit. Yes, hello. And we're gonna hold this here for 30 seconds. Breathing into this. Very nice. Holding this here. Trying to lengthen the hips back, the arms forward. Okay, so 30 seconds. A couple more deep breaths. And then we will relax that. We can come back out of this one. The final one that we're going to do is our bow and arrow stretch. So this one, we do this one quite often with the intention of getting more loose and limber and mobile in these positions, which is again what we're going to think about today. So right off the bat, if you know that weaving your legs like this and then rotating, if that makes you too tight to even come close to the floor, then instead of weaving, what you're going to do is just stack your legs, okay? And we want to make sure that we can make contact with this hand and the shoulder down over here. So if you still need a little bit more give, you can take this arm and put it underneath these knees to kind of lift them up slightly. But again, if you can do this with that stacked or that weaved leg, then that's great, okay? But again, some of us are not as mobile as others, and or today you just might be feeling kind of tight. So we might want to release the legs, but we're going to hold this here for 60 seconds on this side, getting that nice opening stretch through the chest and the shoulder. Straight arm, unless you don't have room like me, I have a little bit of bend, because my wall is right here, my plant. But we're going to hold this here, taking a couple more deep breaths as we approach the end of this minute. So again, this should be relatively comfortable. We might feel a little bit tight, but as we exhale, we get more loose and more comfortable every rep. And if that's not how you're feeling, then again, release your legs, support whatever you need to do. So we'll take one more deep breath. And then we're going to reach this arm up and over and bring it back to where we started. And then we'll switch sides. So I'm just going to turn all the way around. So you look on the back side. You can just simply flip if you want. And then we'll do the same thing over here. So again, if you want to try weaving the legs and then opening up,
Again, if you don't have room, we'll bend the arm, that's okay, but we do want to make sure that we're getting the shoulder down. So again, if you're feeling quite tight, we'll stack the legs. And typically in this one especially, we'll have one side that feels substantially tighter than the other. And so again, we want to prioritize being able to get the shoulder down. So, you know, if you did the weave on the other side, you get over here and there's no way, then unstack your legs, or just stack your legs rather, unweave your legs and see if that allows you to get the shoulder down. If you need to support with the hand, that's okay too. Okay, so we're gonna hold this here. We have about 20 seconds left on the minute-long timer that I have running up there. So I'll just breathe. That now is a perfect opportunity to do any other stretches. Whether you want to go back and do another set of those ones we just did for our back and our core, okay, or maybe you want to do one more set of this bow and arrow, especially if you're feeling really tight, like there's no way, Gussie, that you can get your shoulder on the floor. You will benefit from doing another set of this one here. So feel free to add that in. The other thing that you will probably feel very nice to do is a bit more direct shoulder stretching. So we can reach behind our back, do this one standing, sitting, wherever you want to be, and give yourself a little bit of a reach here, open up the chest and shoulders. But you, my friends, are done with me. Thank you so much for hanging out on this Thursday, getting your upper body, strength, and core work in the Zoom room. I will see you guys hopefully tomorrow for leg day. Hopefully you feel good and you have a great day, and I will see you guys soon. Bye. And my replay watchers, if you're still watching this, if you made it this far, then drop a comment below so I know you're here, and I will see you next time. Okay, bye.